Hi everyone, it's David from the Doctors of Running, and today we're going to take a look at the Hoka One One Carbon X2 after 100 miles. So I want to go into durability a little bit regarding the upper, the ride of the shoe, how the outsole is doing, and just my general thoughts on the shoe. So I'll start off with the upper. The upper is doing very well. It's really dialed in, and I've taken this through several turns and hard workouts on the roads, and it's done just fine. Personal thoughts on it, because this shoe is designed for 100K, I do think it does run a little on the narrow side. The toe box isn't the most wide in the world. It doesn't give me any problems, but I just imagine going beyond 30 miles in this and getting some foot swelling, or someone with a wider foot might have a little bit of an issue through that region. Overall, though, the lockdown's pretty good. I haven't had any slippage in the Achilles region. Hold on the midfoot's great. Everything about it's pretty dialed in, and I'm pretty happy with it overall. It's just an engineered mesh upper, relatively lightweight and breathable. Could it be lighter? Sure, but overall I think it's pretty good. The ride of this shoe has held up very well. It's an interesting ride because it's not quite as bouncy as, say, the Mach 4, even though it has the carbon plate in it. It mainly focuses on that meta rocker, and it has a very strong rolling sensation to it. Over 100 miles, it's held up its ride pretty well. And one distinct thing in this shoe is that there is a split in the carbon fiber plate to allow facilitation of movement of the great toe, to try and get you to translate over that big toe. And you feel it a little bit. I wouldn't say it's enormous, and that's probably a good thing it isn't, because that probably keeps the ride a little bit more neutral for some people and a little bit more natural feeling. But there's a little bit of pop at the toe off, but overall this shoe does rely a lot on that rocker. I've taken it through a variety of paces now at this point, everything from like high 450s in the mile up to about 830 miles. Today I did a 16-mile long run in them with 8 miles at 535 pace. And the shoe did pretty dang good for that. I feel like it does start to bottom out right around that pace for me. I feel like it's a good workout shoe. It's a great long run shoe. I don't know if I would necessarily reach for it for race day, but I do think it depends on the population of the runner who's running in it. I think if you're just going to go out for the run, settle in, and stay steady the whole time, it could be a really good option. So that recreational marathon crowd. I think if you're trying to push real hard and go sub 530 pace for a full marathon and you're just hammering, this might be a little too much, not quite as responsive as, say, the Rocket X. I know a lot of people have been asking for comparisons between the Carbon X2 and the Mach 4, and that's also one of the big things about it too. So the midsole is a compressed molded EVA. It's a little bit firmer. It's got maybe a little bit more bounce to it. Not a whole lot though. It doesn't decompress as much, and the plate inside of it and the geometry of the shoe really rely on that rocker. Whereas the ground contact time, the flex grooves on the Mach 4 are just a lot deeper. On this one, it's not super deep, but again, it doesn't have to be because it's not relying on that grip and that bounce like the ProFly midsole does. This one relies a lot more on its own geometry and stiffness due to the carbon plate. So those are a couple of differences there. Outsole is actually holding up really well. This is a rubberized EVA outsole, but it's a little bit different and a little bit firmer in density than the one seen on the Mach 4. This one is definitely a little bit more firm. It still has a lot to play with though. It's not quite as much as the Mach 4, but it's not wearing down as quick as the Mach 4 either. I mean, I have a little bit of wear in the posterior lateral heel on both sides. A little bit through the forefoot, but really, I mean, I haven't bitten into the flex grooves much at all, and the lettering for Hoka One One is still there. Overall, it's holding up quite well, and I'm actually pretty dang happy with that. And it's best for road. 100% best for road. You could take it on a little bit of trail, but definitely more runnable fire road or just not as technical terrain. On the road, similar like I said with the Mach 4, you get a little bit of a stickiness sensation with gripping the ground. I think it's a little bit more evident in the Mach 4 just because that rubberized EVA just appears to be a little bit softer in the Mach 4. With this one, it's a lot more just rhythmic and rolling. So it's got a fast transition from that heel to the midfoot and a fast transition off that toe off. So overall, it's just a shoe that really gets you into a cycle and just keeps you moving at that pace. And so when you really want to get onto your toes or you're trying to push, the shoe doesn't exactly respond that great in that way. It's definitely more of a long distance shoe, and this was designed for the 100K record that they attempted with the Carbon X2 project. So that makes perfect sense. I think this would be a really good elite ultra marathon shoe or a good recreational marathon shoe, something that you're not blasting the pace in, and something you can hold for a long time. But it's something that you will get tired eventually at, and it's something that is just more quality of the pace, or quantity of the pace rather than the quality of the pace, where you're not hammering sub 5 minute miles out. You're staying more rhythmic, and so I have done some workouts in it where I have taken it under 5 minutes for the mile, and I definitely felt like I was pushing pretty hard. And I feel like that 5:30 to 6:30 for me and my own mechanics is the sweet spot for this shoe. Something that's rhythmic, controlled, doable, and you can do it for a long time. But overall, yeah, I'm really happy with the Carbon X2. It's just a different shoe than the Mach 4. I mean, a lot of people are saying like, oh, is it a Mach 4 with a carbon plate? And it's like yes, and it's no at the same time. The midsoles are different. It's a lot firmer, but it's still very, very protective, and it can easily take you up to the marathon and beyond, and that's what it's designed to do. So those are my thoughts on the Hoka One One Carbon X2. If you like the video, please subscribe to Doctors of Running. We have a podcast coming out almost weekly. We have the website running. We are on Instagram, Facebook, the whole nine. We're at Doctors of Running. Check us out.